Into the 6 Major Raleigh. We're moving into our next group finals here. It's day 3 of the group stage, and that means every game is an elimination match, and every game is also a decider match to send the winning team onward into the playoffs in the lower position for each group. We just saw the first of our matches getting out of the way, with Team Secret coming out on top over Rogue and eliminating Rogue from the event. Now it's time to move on to our second matchup, which is also going to be a great one. Evil Geniuses will be going up against the Giants for one final slot going into the playoffs.
It's going to be very, very interesting, Blue. We'll have to see exactly what can happen with that. You have EG, which we know is more or less surrounded by strats from what we've seen before, and they used to be extremely rigid in their play, but as of recently, they've gotten a lot more flexible, so we'll have to see if that works out for them. And Vodafone, they can always be crazy. They looked great at Valencia, were not able to win out, as that was a Rogue who won that, but to no avail, as they ended up getting kicked out by Team Secret earlier today. Here is Group C for you, so you guys can see exactly how everything went down. Space Station going through. Evil Geniuses getting knocked down to the lower portion of their group in that winner's match, and then Vodafone beating out Ninjas in Pajamas to send them home.
So that is the bracket, ladies and gentlemen. Big surprise, of course, seeing Space Station managing to make it out against Evil Geniuses, especially in the fashion that they did it. 2-0 with every single player firing off on all cylinders. We also saw them take down the Giants back on the first day of group stage here, where the same thing happened. Every single player went off. Really amazing feat there, and it's now put both teams in an awkward position. Only one of these two teams, and I think a large majority of the people at home thought both these teams were going to make it out of this group. Well, now only one of them can, and it's another EU versus NA question. So a lot of our matches for today are deciding that question. Will we see LFO, previously LFO, who's been on a run as of the past few months, of course, leading themselves up to events like Milan, where they did very well at as well. But let's take a look at the EG roster for right now and talk about their players, as unfortunately hasn't been the best showing so far from them at this event, and now they are at risk of elimination. We've seen good performances from players like Geo, along with NVK, but other players like Canadian and some of the rest of the team have been a little bit more hit or miss, and we haven't always seen them show up in these matches.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of stand-up from quite a few of these players, particularly MVK and Canadian, which a lot of people looked at them as more or less a sandbag of the team. But as of late, especially after what happened in Milan, they've definitely stood up to the occasion, rose up, tried to fix things that were happening, especially after that Oregon game that everyone knows too well now. But as you guys can see, with their coach in the background, Gotcha, he's been helping them out so very much, but they're going to have to stand up to a pretty crazy roster in its own right that we've been seeing make waves inside of Europe. They just haven't found that land win yet that's been evading them for so long.
Well, let's take a look at the other side of the coin for the Giants. The Vodafone Giants, to be exact, who are once again looking to make an impact here at a major land and under a new banner this time. In case you've been out of the loop for the past couple of months, this team went by Lestream previously. Unfortunately, they lost that sponsorship a couple months ago and have been going by LFO for a few months, but now have picked up a new sponsor here for the Major, and that is the Vodafone Giants, with obviously some of the highlight players looking at this roster. Ace is definitely the man you want to look towards as your clutch capability, but as you can see from the stats, we've got quite a few other capable players on that roster as well.
Most definitely. I think they impressed a lot of people, especially after their last two lands where they ended up making it to the finals. Just really couldn't find their stride against those last teams, but still had an extremely good showing, especially with Corey just joining the roster. Things are starting to build up to a point where this could be make or break. They could possibly land a spot as being one of the best teams in the entire world, but they have to get there first. Still a very long road ahead of them and some Russians to get through.
One of the greatest stories that we're seeing build up here, but let's take a look at the map pool now and see where exactly the vetoes are going to go. First ban will be EG knocking out Consulate, followed by Giants knocking out Bang. Those two guys have been pretty popular here in the group stage, so we're going to see them knocked out. There's neither team wanting to place onto that. Villa will be the first choice coming in from EG, and the choice from Giants. Let's see where they're going to take this. Over towards Kafe. Yet another Kafe game going to be thrown into the mix. The newest map, seeing quite a bit of play here at the group stage.
Yeah, the Giants have a very peculiar playstyle inside of Europe. We don't see Europe really go for the more gunning style of gameplay, but these guys can definitely accomplish that. So Consulate, kind of a scary thing for Evil Geniuses at this point, especially after that Ninjas in Pajamas game where they just could not get inside of the building. Vodafone ripping Bank away because Evil Geniuses has been so dang good at it for so long. This map pool, I'd say it's split right down the middle. It's really going to be who can perform better on the other team's map pick, but as we've talked about before, with a 7-map map pool, you have have to be at least proficient at every single map.
And we did see EG play Villa earlier on in this tournament, and we actually saw pretty good results though, but it ended up going the distance though. It was a relatively close affair. They played it against NIP in their opening match of the tournament and ended up just barely taking it at 8-7. If I remember correctly, that was the map where we saw Canadians specifically kind of go off on everybody. So maybe they're hoping to reinvigorate that and use that to get them back into if Canadians going to feel more comfortable on that map once again.
Yeah, this map in particular that you were talking about, Canadian ended up with 15 kills, but apparently something glitched out a little bit, so he actually ended up with 13 kills.
Oh, okay.
Apparently he like absorbed MVK's kills for a second, and then it spit him back out. We don't really know what happened, but nonetheless, it was him and MVK, the two people that everyone had been begging on, for a little while, had all of a sudden just risen to the occasion. I mean, we knew NVK as well as Canadian both had this in them. It was just, especially after that Milan event, everyone kind of had a question mark surrounding the name of Canadian, but he obviously still has it. He's just going to have to show quite a bit of it today to get around the Vodafone Giants.
At the end of the day, though, we look at the experience from the guys on the Giants on this map as well, and it's a little bit more limited. Actually, technically speaking, they have more play than EG on it.
Oh, no.
EG is only playing... Oh, Jesus.
Capel, no, stop.
EG's only played it twice in the past few months, but we've seen Giants play it 3 times. However, EG currently has a technically flawless record on it at 2-0, whereas the Giants have seen play and have only actually won once out of 3 times, and that was against Mouse Sports back about a month or 2 ago. They managed to see them play on it. They also tried to play it twice at the Vegas Minor, where we ended up seeing them drop it twice as well. 4-7 to Chaos and 3-7 to Space Station Gaming.
Yeah, Vodafone does not have the best track record against NA teams. They beat a couple of them at the Vegas Minor, but Space Station Gaming got the best of them, and that's when Fultz was practically brand new to the roster. So, especially going up against Evil Geniuses right now, I don't know if that fares very well, because we already saw what happened with them against Rogue at Valencia as well.
We'll have to see if this is going to be the confidence boost that EG need in order to get them back into it. Here's the community vote, as now you've heard enough about what we think of the matchup. 59% of you thinking that EG is going to be able to pull over the Giants and knock them out of this event, sending another North American team onward into the playoffs. But we will see in just a few minutes if that is going to be held true or not. As, of course, the Giants are going to look to fight with everything they have to get out of this group into the playoff stage to represent that new banner on one of the biggest stages in Siege.
Well, there is a possibility for 100% success rate for all the European teams to get through on NA soil. NA needs to stand up right now, because as we sit, there is only one team inside of the playoffs that is under the NA banner. Evil Geniuses can try and change that. Rogue attempted, but Team Secret slid past, and what wasn't the easiest 2-0, especially after that coastline, but that first map was definitely easy, breezy, and beautiful.
Absolutely the case. Once again, the Giants as well looking to step things up. As you were mentioning, looking to represent Europe. It's slowly turning into an affair we could end up having very much just NA and EU teams work their way through into the bracket and knock out both APAC and LATAM entirely. We'll be seeing if that's indeed going to be held true by the end of today, but for now, let's focus on this NA versus EU final group matchup here. It's Group C's final. Evil Geniuses going up against the Vodafone Giants, and map number 1 is getting started right now. It's here on Villa. Let's get into the ban phase. Vodafone Giants start in defense, and they take the 2 outer bans, and they will knock out Hibana first.
Pretty regular ban here on Villa, especially because of how much hard destruction there is on this map. Want to remove Hibana to make your impact tricks a little bit more effective. Evil Genius is going to be removing Dokkaebi, as they just really don't like her. They've been removing her against a lot of teams that really don't play her too much. Aces actually has quite a bit of play on Dokkaebi, so I can definitely see as to why they would want it gone in this particular sense, but they banned it against Ninjas in Pajamas as well, and we really haven't seen Nip play it too often before. Mira going to follow that up as well, and on Villa, she definitely has quite a bit of play.
That means the defenders do have the choice of being able to knock out either Maestro or Echo, depending on which they want to play. They're going to choose to take Echo out from Villa this time around. So that means we'll be seeing Maestro play in the Alda, that of course has grown ever so popular over the last year or so of play, with Montaigne being added into the meta now. That'll end the ban phase. Let's get into the first round here. Once again, EG on the attack, Vodafone on the defense. It's time to see who can make it through.
So as of recent, Evil Geniuses on the offensive side have had a 62.5% chance of winning their round, which is actually pretty impressive. Obviously, it's in the positive side of things, which is always good. And some other notations about their offense is that they always play Sledge and they always play Thatcher when they are available.
Let's see, is the Kafe? Yeah, pretty predictable right there. You could trick us on that a while ago, but we see those coming from a mile away now. So the Caviera is going to get 6 picked away, as you might expect. Corey will go onto the Pulse. We'll also see the IQ get 6 picked out as well over towards an Ash. So let's see if Evil Geniuses are going to try anything tricky by trying to hide the Ash.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot with Canadian, where he'll pick more of a utility-based operator than 6-pick off to something more frag-heavy. And he usually speeds up his gameplay quite a bit as well, so we'll have to see if he follows his traditional suit here, but it does kind of suck that he's 6-pick off of the IQ when the Pulse was what came out from Vodafone. That definitely helped him out quite a bit. But especially on this site, you're always going to want to check Kitchen and drone things through thoroughly, otherwise you're more than likely going to meet an explosive end.
No Valkyrie at least, so you don't have the main purpose of those IQ, which is to counter out the camera and advanced intel that some of the defenders might be able to get through the cameras, which have become so prevalent, so they're not going to be missing that. But indeed, the lack of being able to hunt down Pulse with ease, especially if he plays into the basement or tries to lurk in the first floor with a waiting C4, is going to be a bit of a shame if EG don't catch onto it and aren't able to stop it later on in the round. We've got EG out into the board, so let's take a look at their opening strategy here now. We got Canadian approaching over here towards the main entry side of the building. He'll also be supported by Geo as they work towards that, and just watch the upstairs windows to make sure we don't have any aggressive runouts going to be happening here from the Giants.
Well, south to north clear, which means that they will be working their way through Aviator as well as the bar room upstairs, just making sure that there is no roamer that can possibly get a flank off. They're definitely going to need a little bit of time once they get to the actual site. They're going to have to deal with Alfama on that clash, which is always a nuisance. Obviously, she has a shield in front of her face. You can't shoot her. She can also tase you to where you move extremely slow, making gunfights easier for the defense. And they're going to need some utility to get rid of that in particular, because otherwise Alfama will definitely be a nuisance. Canadian could definitely meet his demise here, but chooses to go to other pastures. Doesn't want to hop inside a mudroom because that would more than likely get him killed by, I believe, Corey, or it was Hicks, that was sitting down right in the crux of that corridor.
Corey going to be hiding out closer to the living room right now, just kind of waiting out the timer. Besides this, we are going to see Rise holding the top of the stairs right now on Ella instead. Rise getting a little bit aggressive there, peeks out, does try to take a duel against one of the attackers, but won't be able to find a mark on it. Corey did take a slight amount of damage earlier there, but it doesn't look like it's any significant, so he was able to avoid the majority of the duel wherever it did or didn't happen. Just about half the round gone now, and not a whole lot of progress being made here by EG at all. They're still, for the most part, outside of the building. Just now, really starting to get a lot of drone intel on the inside. This attack, if they even really get to go for it at this point, is going to have to be very, very quick.
They've cleared quite a bit of this map, but from their drone play that we have seen, they really haven't gotten that much information, and there you go. Corey's going to claim someone's life from underneath with that nitro cell. Did not have any information on that he was underneath, even though they droned most of the basement area. Just did not look over inside of kitchen.
Active roam denial proving very effective right now for the defending team, as even, again, you've got the Ella trying to hold these players on the outside, and so far it's working. Geo's been down, Necrox has been outright eliminated. You've got a Clash standing at the bedroom to statue doorway, which is going to prevent anyone from pushing into that easily. They don't have a pinch by the Red Hall or anywhere in that area as far as I can tell either, so there's no easy way to deal with this Clash. And to be honest, they just don't really have the time to try and force her out with utility. 30 seconds left. This is looking terrible right now for EG.
And Geo had to pick himself up as well, so only has 5 HP. Concussion coming out. Geo tagging, well, allowing Alfama to get tagged up a little bit due to that concussion, moving the shield over, but from underneath is going to be Hicks. They've just completely ignored this roam game, and it's punishing them thoroughly. A quick move from Rise as he takes down Young. Corey will add on to the Flames. It's all up to NVK. This is more than likely going to be a perfect round as the Clash shield comes out. Does not allow him to move very much. Rise claims his life, and that'll be a flawless round to start off for Vodafone Giants.
Giants, a great round as well here. Just completely deny any access for EG at all. Closest they get to the site is a few players stepping into the bedroom, but besides that, no one gets any kind of map control at all, and they spend the better part of the first, really, like 2 minutes and 20 seconds of the round just trying to find intel, and they were denied in every single step of it. Good, aggressive first round from the Giants, and now it's time to see how they build on that as they'll work their way over to Aviator and Games Room.
Well, Canadian switching over to the IQ, I'm going to assume he's going to hard stick that this time. Is actually, right when I say it, Caster's Cursed always ensues. Mine is particularly powerful over this event so far, as right when I say people's names, they die. But instead this time it's going to be Canadian switching over to Ash once again. So I'm very curious as to why he continues to switch over to this Ashe play instead when, especially in that last round, we didn't really see any progress get created by any of the stuns that he had on deck or his breaching round from the likes of Ashe, where the IQ could have definitely helped out and it could continue to help out. We have Rise on Legion, we have Corey on Mozzie, as well as you have Mute. So that Mute-Mozzie combo coming out, and IQ can definitely help out quite a bit, especially since Villa has a lot of soft destruction, allowing IQ to shoot to the floor.
Setup will be concluding in just a moment. However, Corey on the roam once again here with the Mozzie. Will be setting up, trying to cause some problems here for the drone work on EG. Already an issue in the last round. And again, you can see that Mute Mozzie combo that we were seeing SSG as well work so effectively against EG yesterday. And was a large part of the reason why EG struggled so much against that attack and obviously defense that was put up by the SSG roster. See the guys from the Giants. Haven't been able to check out too many of the Giants games. Of course, a lot of them collided with our own casting schedule here, but I would imagine they're trying to take the same page out from SSG's book and hopefully try to use the same strats as well against them in order to try and force them into making mistakes, which so far, at least based on round one, has worked pretty well.
Overly slow take here by Evil Geniuses once again is hopefully the drone work actually works this time, but that's going to be a tall order as we do indeed have Corey still, and there will be a drone that hides under the desk, but he's actually going to capture one of those hiding under the couch over in the hallway, so that's going to be pulling away from that drone economy of Evil Geniuses, making things just a little bit harder to find any information on it. That's what this combo of Mute and Mozzie that everyone has been ranting about creates is an extremely hard environment in order to get any information, and you actually really need to lean on info-based operators on offense to try and get anything through this combo. Particularly Jackal helps out quite a bit.
We've got Geo trying to work his way through, just dealing with a little bit of utility. Already easier access into the building this time. Rise is going to get a little bit of a nasty surprise right here as the walls opened up from behind him. No one on the other side of it though, so we're gonna have to try and figure out exactly where that explosion came from. More than likely was Geo. Corey, though, still strikes first, able to knock out Canadian. A little bit of spam back through on the inside of the gallery here as he's trying to take out a second player from EG as well. Once again, though, that opening frag over to the Giants. Like another player, though, was just dropped from them. Alfama on the Clash, gonna go down. No kill, but Necrox in the meanwhile also able to confirm onto Corey. Aces, though, the quick switch over to the Shoddy to finish off. Geo trades it back. And depending on what happens to Alfama, we could be in a 3v3 here in just a moment.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses creating angles downstairs and just not capitalizing quickly on information is going to get them punished. NVK is actually going to take down Necrox as Alfama will get picked up by Hicks. This is all of a sudden going to become a 4v2. Down to a 2v3 though, as NVK will actually shoot through the floor, claims Alfama's life, makes this a little bit closer. But more than likely not particularly easy. We do still have Hicks alive. We know how powerful that Alda can be. Going to be holding a close angle on Steady. We actually have someone inside of Steady. It's going to be Aces. A stun grenade comes through. Full blind will be the man next to the fireplace, but from both angles will he have to worry about gunfire if he wants to push. We do have Hicks pushed up inside of 90. And that's the exact man that you want to worry about if you are going to try and take the Steady door. Aces still playing very close as well. That SMG-11 going to help him out quite a bit. That's going to be the first one. Can he find the second? Tags on, but nothing too much to follow through. 18 seconds left on the clock now as MVK has to challenge, takes down Hicks, has a diffuser in hand, plenty of health to try and get something to happen, but not very much time. Has to fight for the Study door now. He's actually going to rotate into Aviator. Rise is going to try and play his life and force a rotation out of Aces. Quick fire and a shot. It'll be Rise to claim the second round.
Much closer affair that time. You could see EG trying to speed things up, prevent the Giants from being able to get as much map control and obviously restrict them as a result of that. And even though they were able to battle back and fight overall a much closer round, at the end of the day, Vodafone Giants just with better positioning, better execute capability against EG, able to shut them down there and once again take the advantage now with 2-0. 2 sites completed on their triangle. Now to go to the third, they're going to head over towards the dining room and kitchen sites.
This is the slowest I've ever seen Evil Geniuses move in my entire life. They really need to pick up the pace right now. Especially in an elimination game, you don't have time to sit here and just frolic. You need to be actually doing things. When you roam clear, you need to actually roam clear instead of, okay, yeah, we established an angle, and this guy's going to peek me. No, he's not. He's going to waste time, and that's exactly what Vodafone did, and even got support because you guys were not capitalizing on the information that you gained. Just because you created the angle doesn't mean that all of a sudden that man in there dies. He's more than likely going to call to his teammates and say, hey, I need help, which is how you got the rotation out of the Mute over towards Red Stairs.
So, to our next round we will go. We did have another 6-pick situation here as obviously Corey tries to, well, not very well hide the pulse again as he doesn't have a frost pick, but also Canadian 6-picking off the IQ once more. to work himself on to Jackal as well. So he'll be playing onto that. Look at some of the stats here as well. Pretty straightforward for only 2 rounds in for the most part there, so nothing too surprising coming out of the stat board at this point. See EG pick up the medal a little bit here. What's up?
They're going to have a Jackal pick come out from Evil Geniuses after we discussed all about that information game and how that would definitely help them out with these roamers, especially with that mute Mozzie combo that has become so prolific as we were talking about earlier. Jackal helps out with that situation because obviously he's not countered out by either of them. You can still track one person, but you still have to worry about the other 4. Also, no IQ once again for the offense, so those Legion Binds still going to be particularly annoying, and Ace's cameras more than likely going to be in a safe spot as well.
And the Valkyrie cam's another part that's just been added into it, as they did swap out the Mute, who I believe Aces was playing before. If not, the roles were changed around a little bit, but doesn't matter too much either way. Added the intel. Obviously, this means droning capability is going to be a little bit better for EG this time, as they won't have to deal with those jammers at a minimum, but still, that's not saying much as a forward. That's been one of EG's biggest issues at this line, is being able to deal with this combo.
40 seconds in, though, it seems that they have a general idea already of what they want to try and handle on this kitchen site. This is going to be an off-site for Vodafone, if you even really want to call that. But we've seen quite a few people actually be able to be victorious on this site, including Evil Geniuses on their last bout of Villa. They only ended up losing 1 kitchen defense, so we'll see how Vodafone starts off on their max site rotation here. Drone will get shot out, and that means that Corey will be pulling away from Evil Geniuses' drone economy once again, as he was already earlier. But as you guys can see, they've basically done the shuffle across with all operators. And instead of Mozzie being piloted by Corey, he'll be piloted by Hicks, and Canadian will finally be able to find a frag for the opening side of Evil Geniuses. Geometric's going to tag on as well, as everyone seems to be locked down inside of Laundry. Going to shoot out a drone is Rise, but he's got to try and stay alive here. The wall's already been blown open as well by Young to establish quite a bit of presence inside of the dining area.
So Rise going to sit with the shotgun and hopefully wait for the execute to work its way. And he, of course, has to be careful of the wall that was open over towards his right as well. In the meantime, attackers, you just saw from the silhouette, they're also trying to work some positioning from the bottom floor in the basement as well. And hopefully get a pinch onto these guys. Alfama with a very aggressive move, but it works. Geo just not ready for it. Walks right in, finds the pick. There is going to be some pressure working its way in from the ceiling now as well, as EG are looking to pull off the pincer move and squeeze the members of the Giants out of the site.
A quick shot from Alfama as he dances on the door. Has to worry about the positioning. Knows he'll get shut down by NVK. I think it's just a touch easier. Young to tack on as well. It's Aces outside of Tarps and Canadian to seal the deal for the first round for Evil Geniuses. A little bit faster, but I'm really not liking how Evil Geniuses is trying to fully play this map from the outside. It seems to punish them just a little bit. There are some worrying notes, especially with aggressive play from Vodafone when Evil Geniuses tends to slow down and try and get some more information. They immediately try and get aggressive and fight back from that map control. And this might throw a wrench into things for Evil Geniuses at a later time.
Also for Vodafone too, really pulled back their own aggression onto that round, especially once they started spotting the EG push working its way in through Laundry. It did look for a moment like EG was going to commit pretty much their entire push in through Laundry. So Vodafone Giants had pulled back a lot of their roaming presence in order to support that, but as a result, that allowed EG to have much greater access across the map and obviously pinch the site out a lot easier. So we'll see if that remains a consistent thing, is of course now that we've gone around the first 3 rounds, we can start to see the Giants go back to the sites that they handily won in the first 2 rounds, and they're going to head back to Trophy now.
Craziest 6-pick I've ever seen, let me tell you. Sledge to sledge, they'd never expect that. A double agent is what we call that.
Really keep them guessing,
Yeah, exactly. Really keep them guessing with that. Especially if it actually flashed like, okay, this guy's being the 6-pick, and you just 6-pick back into the same thing. That would actually be a terrible idea, because then you'd obviously know that you don't have to deal with something. But, I mean, if you wanted to throw them off really, really bad, just 6-pick right back into the same thing. If it ever did show up, that will never, ever be a thing, because that would be absolutely terrible. We are going to be going back up to trophy games now, or excuse me, statuary trophy. Apologies. Alfama back on the Clash, and he was really the person that threw the biggest wrench into Evil Genius's plans last time. Apparently the Genius part of that really just didn't work out. Don't really know what happened there, but this time they're definitely going to need to try and focus on Master Bedroom to get around Alfama. Otherwise, again, this is just going to be a massive issue. They got Geo in a little bit too late, and as we had seen, he'd gotten down, and then he had to pick himself back up, which, if you guys didn't know, there's 3 different levels of health that you can possibly have when you get picked up. It depends on what you get picked up by. Zophia's the only one that can pick herself up. She only has 5 HP when she picks herself up. If you have your teammate pick you up, you get 20, and if you get docked up, you get 75. So definitely the lowest amount of health that you can possibly get, but that would be why Zophia's picture is a Phoenix, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah. So guys, we've got EG into the building this time. I think they definitely learned from the first round that they really can't play this attack so slowly, obviously because of the clash issue, and on top of the roaming presence that was keeping them out of the building for a large majority of that first round they played into. So this time you can see they're going to start things out from office, which they didn't really use on the first round for the most part. They did try to play it outside pretty much entirely and then pushed with that normal route into bedroom. So Gio's gone roaming a little bit over here towards the 90 hall, and he's going to look to see what he can accomplish with some support from his teammates droning downstairs.
Funny enough, if Evil Geniuses continues to have an issue with this roam game or just rotations in general, there is actually just a full-fledged onslaught. And speaking of that, Corey will all of a sudden be discovered inside of living room, but it's not going to be for too long, as Canadian will be the first one out for Evil Geniuses. More than likely needed some help down there. I'm going to guess he did not realize and how much danger he really was inside of that bathroom. Rest of the site, though, going to be covered by Vodafone Giants. We do still have Corey downstairs, so Nitro Cells more than likely still in play. They do have NVK to try and pull away that cardiac sensor if they want to go for that route, but Gio will be the next one to fall, as this seems to be all Vodafone all day.
Yeah, already down to just 3 players left here for EG, and again, EG really struggling to make any kind of map control progress. They do have control of the 90 hall with an ability to push back in, but unfortunately it doesn't look like they've been able to use utility successfully enough to force players back. And to be honest, they've lost all their execute utility with Zofia going down. They don't really have any way to force any of the defenders out. Necrox is going to be able to get a nice find, though. Able to take out Hicks when he's moving. With him going down, Aces gets a spot onto at least one player and is going to be able to take out, or at least down, the Thermite as he tries to walk past. That'll put the diffuser onto the ground, too. The clash right next to it. Alfama will just shock him to death. We did see a trade from NVK onto Corey, but it's a small gesture at this point, as again, EG are still largely boxed out of any real execute potential right now.
And they have no utility to try and deal with Alfama. They can always EMP the shield and make it not work for 10 seconds, but I don't really see that as an option right now. Only 17 seconds, and they're going to have to go into the meat grinder. Aces with the double kill, and more than likely the last. No one to be Rise to claim that, and Vodafone Giants looking extremely clean so far on Villa.
So there you go, it's 2 for 2, especially on this site when it comes to the defensive round, and we'll see if Vodafone Giants is going to be able to go 2 for 2 on yet another site as they'll head over to Aviation Games. Evil Genius is really struggling with these upstairs site takes. Thankfully, the off-site was a lot easier for them, so they still will have a chance to try and claim that if we see Vodafone Giants pick up their 4th right here, but definitely coming off of a 2-4, not necessarily what you want to be working towards, even with a switch over towards defense following that.
See, I like that they're finally flexing other operators, and this is going to be the first time that they haven't taken Sledge, that we have access to for information-wise on CGG. Once again, shout out to them. They help us out so very much with all the statistics and everything, but this will be the first time that Sledge has not been taken from them on offense on Villa, as Necrox will be going over to Capital. We will have Young on Montang instead of Hardbreach as well.
And again, there's an immediate reason for that. The same issue they ran into in the last round. They lost their Zofia too early, which means they lost any of their execute potential. She was the only one with any type of stun or way to force opponents out of a room. That's going to change now, of course, with Capital coming into the mix, as you have those asphyxiation bolts along with the extra smokes you can use to execute onto the site too.
Also, some other helping points for Evil Geniuses, especially with Young, is that they switched over to utility that's going to help them out quite a bit with Alfama. Yeah. They have Zofia, which is already extremely annoying against Clash, and then you also have Necrox, which literally just burns her alive because of how fast the asphyxiation bolt expands. You basically just get a free kill. Either that or she's going to have 5 health. Little pop-up there for you guys from CGG, so shout out to them once again. They bring up some of the coolest stats ever. Flynn was actually giving them a little bit of crap a couple days ago and was talking about how, could you please tell us what happened at Canadian's first birthday party and stuff like that, because they can probably find that information. It's really crazy the stuff that they are able to bring up.
Gotta do a little bit more digging for that one, but I'm sure they can get to it in a few days.
Just talk to his mom. She's so nice.
So once again, we've got Gio looking towards that front door entry as he's going to look to kind of lead the charge here and clear out some of the roaming presence that might be around those main stairs on the first floor. In the meantime, Young makes his first entry here on the Montaigne by pushing into the master bathroom and starting his swing from there. He'll have Canadian nearby to swing up the stairs potentially. We'll see how these teams try to form up in just a second.
Can we just talk about how good this lineup is from Vodafone, especially playing into what Evil Geniuses has been doing so far? Evil Geniuses has been leaning so much on this info game, especially with drones, and Vodafone directly countering that, but they're also countering everything on site that you could possibly want to do. Rise always playing this Legion, being a thorn particularly in the side of the Monty now, it's going to be a lot harder for Young to accomplish exactly what he wants, and they don't have an IQ really to get rid of those. They're more or less just going to have to use the human eye instead to try and help that out. As well as, even though Canadian can track one person, it's a lot better if you can keep track of the four others on drones, but as of right now, that's going to continue to be part of the struggle bus. Oh, we could have had a shot come out there from MVK, but nothing going to happen. NitroCell will claim NVK's life, actually, and for once again, Corey underneath as the poles. Actually, no, he's not even underneath as the poles. He's going to be underneath as the Mozzie. Cancel that. So he will claim yet another life from a NitroCell. It just seems that the roam clear for Evil Geniuses is not there.
First Firebolt also used by the Capitao. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do all that much here. Tries to force back the Clash, but she's going to be able to push forward again in just a second if she really wants to. Either way, Young will approach the doorway now, start to line up a push for the rest of his team. Do not have a huge angle established on the other side of this towards Study, and that's why I believe you see Canadian trying to establish that now from the outside window. Flash is going in. Again, really not going to do much at this point, just going to move Clash out of the way for a couple of seconds, but Alfama will step right back in place a moment later. Drone presence is at least going to give them a good idea as to where Aces is positioned. I don't think it's going to be good enough to spot Hicks in the corner just yet, so he can still swing on in surprise. Firebolt does force Alfama into the corner, and Canadian trying to look for the angle, but not able to find the back of the Clash, so she stays safe once again, and that's both the Firebolts. The reason they brought him into this round, go on, there you go, though. Necrox and Canadian picking up two. Aces, though, swings out from the inside of the vault, finds Canadian, looks for another one, trying to work past the shield player, and will work out well. Catches Necrox, now has to fight the Montaigne in a 1v1, swipes him away, finishes him off with the shotty, and with Hicks picking up the last kill, the Giants do it again, leading 4-1.
Poor execution by Evil Geniuses. They had the right idea, but just no call on the execution. Canadian could have had Clash dead much earlier and just did not hop that window onto Study. Whether it was he was making sure no one was on main stairs or what have you, we really cannot get into their headspace. Speaking of headspace, though, tactical timeout will be called by Evil Geniuses. As you guys see, Gotcha having a pretty firm word with what's going on with Evil Geniuses right now, and they more than likely need that because they're coming out extremely cold. It's like they almost haven't played a game in weeks.
Yeah, it's not looking good at the moment here for EG. Execute potential looking incredibly weak. Capability to deal with roamers is not really looking that strong either, especially when it came to those two statue runs that we ended up playing into. The only hope that they've had has been on this site that they're about to go into once again, which is the dining room and kitchen, where the execute looked a lot better. But again, that's partially due to, in my opinion anyway, some mistakes that were made by the Giants. They pulled back roaming aggression. They kind of allowed EG to execute because, to be fair, it did look like EG were going to just walk in with 3 to 4 players through Laundry. So they kind of bid on that. They pulled everybody back to site, and as a result, EG were given a lot of free map control. Whether that's going to happen again or not here in the final round of the half is yet to be seen. But if we start to see the folks from the Giants extend out again and try to play the roaming game once more, that could cause the same issues for EG here.
We need a roam clear. That's the thing. And the only roam clear Evil Geniuses has done was with Canadian on Jackal, and he was completely by himself, hopped inside of bathrooms. You're already inside of a rock and a hard place on that first floor because guess what? There's only one way to get out. You either push through the door or hop back through the window that you just came through. Instead, he chooses the door. He saw footsteps, got a little bit tunnel vision, didn't realize that, hey, they're more than likely going to be roaming underneath the site playing Nitro Cells because guess what? That's also what Troy does. He plays poles, he plays downstairs in that exact same room on that exact same site. So again, it just poses the question as to exactly why there hasn't been a hard roam clear by Evil Geniuses yet, whether it's that they can't get the information because of the Mozzie mute combo or what have you. We're still going to have to find out. But as of right now, this is looking like it might be a 5-1 in favor of Vodafone Giants, unless Evil Geniuses have all of a sudden just struck gold with their talk with Gotcha.
Yeah, so once again, we do still have a heavy amount of roaming presence here for the Giants. They're going to be looking to play into that same strategy. Whether we'll see them pull it back or not, like they did on the previous round, we'll find out. Probably what the opening moves from EG is. I would imagine they're going to take the same somewhat routing that they did on the initial attack here, since it went so well for them. Heavy presence on Laundry, a few players that then pinch upstairs, and they did have one in the basement roaming at one point. I don't know if they were able to really use that much going into kind of the late run situation, so it was much more the upstairs push that yielded results for EG towards the end of the round, and I think gave them a lot of intel as well for the eventual execute.
Another big issue for Evil Geniuses so far is they've really failed to shut down any rotation from Vodafone. Vodafone's been able to get back on the site almost every single time for free, and there's been no real contention of that. Again, this is particularly still laid onto that roam clear of, okay, we really haven't tried to box someone in and claim these frags to start off the map. They've more or less just been focused on site, and that's all we've really seen from Evil Geniuses, as opposed to, well, right now where they're starting to clear across once again. We saw this once before, but to no avail was that round. Other than that, they've really just played this map from the outside, and the one round that they do have won, they could play from almost completely outside. They played it just off of the laundry room, right off of the kitchen site, and we really didn't see any presence anywhere else throughout the map. So I feel like if they try to expand their horizons just a little bit and worry about exactly where these roamers could be downstairs, well, first of all, they'll definitely keep somebody else alive, because it seems like almost every single round, someone dies from a nitro cell underneath. Speaking of which.
Yeah. Once again, we are going to see EG get relatively easy access to the above site areas, though, so that's going to cause problems for the Giant in the lanes around here. Hicks, of course, trying to make the best of a somewhat bad situation and knock these players out, as I think one player ends up shooting, I think Canadian ends up shooting into a bomb or something like that, potentially. But either way, the C4 is going to get wasted there, goes into the open. Hicks will not be able to grab anything with that. Canadian now looking for responses, so he's going to be able to put down some of these breaching charges that open up the site.
3 nitro cells for the defense as well. We've already seen one expended, but doesn't mean that there can definitely still be a kill achieved from one of these. Aces roaming downstairs inside of that toilet room that we saw Canadian have some trouble with earlier on, but plenty of soft destruction now happening upstairs for Evil Geniuses. And speaking of destruction, Hicks' head will be completely destroyed as NVK takes a peek. A little bit of damage, but a little bit more for his leisure as Hicks will fall to him. Adding one more kill inside of that kill column. 45 seconds now as Evil Geniuses has not really had any focus on site, so a little bit different from the main plan, but definitely running low on time. Have not been able to find another angle on anyone else. 2 frag grenades, 4 Necrocs upstairs, which could definitely help him out if he wants to try and bounce one into kitchen to try and claim another life, but Rise rotating up the back stairs right now. Might actually get found out by somebody that was rotating down. It will be Canadian, but Rise will actually get the refrag. Canadian found Corey. So, still going to be Vodafone in the lead. They still have plenty of site control, and that's going to be Diffuser down as, oh my goodness gracious, all of Vodafone on top of Evil Geniuses. It doesn't even matter anymore. 10 seconds left. Geo's upstairs, and this round is going to go clearly in the favor of the Vodafone Giants.
Yeah, Geo, not much hope. He's even got a player, I think, near Mike Master Bedroom or something like that to deal with at this point.
Don't even know each other are there.
Oh, there we go, and it doesn't even get the kill off in time. So the Giants pick up yet another round and do indeed push to a very impressive 5-1 start against Evil Geniuses coming off their defensive half here on Villa. Certainly shying away from that very, very close 8-7 match that we ended up seeing these two teams play on the very same map back at Invite about 6 months ago or so.
All of a sudden, things get extremely difficult for Evil Geniuses as they practically have to have a perfect defense to keep them alive here on Villa. And this is their map pick once again. And as much as we love to talk about Vodafone Giants, previous LFO, previous Lestream, and how aggressive they can possibly be in their play style, we really haven't even seen that yet. I mean, they've really just been on roam game, and the roam game just has not been scathed. There hasn't been a hard clear from Evil Geniuses at all on that offense to really try and test the limits of that roam game. They've more or less just had whatever room that they wanted to fancy, and once they had it, Evil Geniuses just did nothing about it, and it seemed that all the utility from Vodafone was just used almost to a T. Plenty of Nitro Cell kills. Clash was almost perfect the entire time, and Evil Geniuses just could not find a way to get through it. So that means now they're going to have to, once again, almost have a perfect defensive side to stay in things on Villa.
Now, to give hope to the EG fans out there, we've talked about this before as well. EG generally, yeah, and this is actually a great point. This is what I was talking about. Their attacks overall across the tournament, not even just on Villa, haven't been that great. Specifically in the context of Villa, they've only won 37% of the rounds. But as you can see from their defensive side, they win 86% of those rounds. So thank you very much, CGG, just making my point for me. Actually, I don't even have to go on with it. So
yeah, exactly. You know what, Spleck, update your CGG, man. Because I got 62% on Evil Geniuses side. This is your website. Come on. Your defense is
called out.
Mine says 85%, so I don't know if you just gave me the account that's bad or what. He's trying to mess me up on broadcast. That's what he's trying to do.
Either way, generally speaking, across this tournament, EG's defenses have been massively better than their attacks. So there may still be a chance for them to come back, but 5-1 is asking a lot, so we'll have to see what they can do.
I mean, we've seen it before. There's definitely been a couple of games, particularly the Consulate game, where we just said, okay, this is going to be really easy for Evil Geniuses to win this on offense. And they got to offense, and literally nothing happened until we finally got to overtime, and they found out, oh, hey, we actually know how to play this game. And they were able to beat out Ninja's Pajamas, send them down to the lower bracket. Vodafone now on the offense, as everyone can clearly see by those VGIA tags by the end of their name, especially with Rise on Ash. This lineup here by Vodafone, particularly good. They have quite a bit of soft destruction, and Alfama on that Maverick. He's the only hard destruction on the entire team. And you might be wondering why Corey's going to be on the Thatcher as well. Well, you don't just need Thatcher to get rid of bandit batteries and things like that in order to get a wall open. Those EMPs affect all electronics, whether disabling them or breaking them. It just depends on what is hit by that radius of the EMP. They help out quite a bit with more than just getting a wall open. Toxic Babe now going to help out Evil Geniuses to repel Alfama off the wall that he was currently torching. And we're actually getting pretty low on time.
Just a little over a minute left here. Interesting choice at the end of the day to use the Maverick over a more traditional hard breach over to try and get access to this site too. Not something that at least I've personally seen happen too often on this map. And once again, Alfama still trying to work his way through. The Toxic Babe, of course, was delaying him a few seconds before. No longer is that an issue, but he needs to move quickly now for the reason that Stokes just mentioned. Time is starting to get very, very low here. Rise looking to hunt out some players above him. Has some type of intel, as you can see the ping, and there you go, a little bit of spam through the floorboards. Going to be able to get some damage, I believe, onto the Maestro. Knocks out just over half his HP, but no dice on getting the kill, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a scary thing at this level of plays. You can die from almost every single angle, including horizontal, as Young will take down Alfama. That's the Maverick, which means no more hard destruction. Aggressive play from Rise, but Gio will be there to shut him down as we see Hicks rotate towards main stairs. They have to try and pick up the pieces here, but again, might be too little too late. Evil Geniuses definitely fell into quite a few of these. He did end up making the wall soft, so things would be a lot easier. Nitro Cell goes out, but it wasn't even towards the Buck. Hicks refrags, but it's going to be Young to capitalize. All left up to Hicks. Necrox with the answer, and Evil Geniuses find their second round of the game.
With like 4 nades flying into the open there at 90 at the end of the round. Things are going crazy.
I like that Hicks got scared the Nitro Cell was flying his way. He's like, whoa, 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 and he just watches his friend get blown up at the end of 90.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's just got a frag in his hand ready to go. An explosive end, you could say.
Oh.
Sorry.
I just woke up like an hour and a half ago, and you're already doing this to me?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's early in the morning, so I gotta get out of the way now. But indeed, a good start for Evil Genius. It's exactly what we needed to see if there was going to be a hope for them to come back in this game. So maybe we're not done here on Villa just yet. But, of course, that's over on Aviation and Games. Time to see how they handle Trophy and Villa. Or Trophy and Statuary, excuse me. Villa's the map.
Yeah, Villa is indeed the map.
So I guess we're trying to see how they handle Villa as well. Yeah. I wasn't technically wrong, but...
Reciting Dora the Explorer, apparently. IQ going to come out instead of the Buck for Hicks, which honestly I really don't agree with. Okay, I understand what they're going for. I really do. They're going to try and get rid of Necrox and Geo, particularly Geo. Necrox is more than likely going to get one drone, but they're going to try and eliminate all this information that Geo brings with this IQ, and going to make it actually pretty easy for Hicks. Going to put it in some particularly easy areas to start off, especially inside of bathroom, which will help out Hicks quite a bit, because that's going to be the main focal point of gathering intel with that IQ scanner. Is going to be in that main master bedroom area, so he's more than likely going to get that, as well as be able to counter out Necrox. But again, more than likely Necrox is going to get at least one drone, because that's just what you expect from Mozzie at this point, especially because mostly everyone just puts them on top of staircases, and you have to get a drone up a staircase in order to find out any information on this area. So with that being said now, Vodafone still leaning on trying to prevent this roam game of Evil Geniuses. We haven't seen what in God's name is happening.
Well, it seems to be a very quick start.
Necrox is dead, so you don't need to counter out him with IQ, because he's dead.
Well, I mean, to be like just for those first like 30 seconds or so,
like 15 seconds.
Giants just came rolling into the building, so I do not think Necrox is ready for that at all.
He just grabbed the banana right from the kitchen, put it on his gun, and then continue to roll through. Aces will take down Geo as well, and we're not even a minute in. 2 dead corpses on the side of Evil Geniuses. It seems that Vodafone might be taking them all to the morgue.
EG seem really susceptible to like any kind of move from their opponents is off pacing, whether it's on the attack or the defense. You know, that could be like aggressive roaming from the defense they were really getting tripped up by, especially in the earlier rounds of the first half. And now again, same thing here. Attackers go for a really, really quick push into the building, and seemingly the roamers just like aren't ready for it. Both of them get caught. No chance to respond.
Smart play by Aces there. Opens up the floor and starts looking for footsteps. Identifies Maestro, and they obviously know he's more than likely playing inside of Astronomy because that's where every single Maestro plays when you are upstairs. NVK to try and bring things back now. That will be the IQ of Hicks, so don't have to worry about him too much longer, especially for those Valkyrie cameras. And they are more than likely still going to have quite a few up, as we didn't really see Hicks bring out that sensor at all. Aces now playing the angle for the rotation. Quick shots through, but it's going to be Aces to rip the head off Canadian. He goes for the pre-fire, but it's going to be a little bit too high and dry, and Alfama begins to rotate in through bathroom, leaving only NVK alive, who's completely off-site. Alfama now with the planner, more than likely going to make this 6-2 unless we see some truly incredible heroics by NVK.
Really great intel gathering on this round by the Giants, and this is like a perfect example of it. They see NVK coming from a mile away. He doesn't even see anyone from the Giants and just gets destroyed through a wall. That was the story for at least 3, or if not most, of the EG roster going down that round, not even getting a chance to see, much less respond, and have a chance to trade out these 1v1s that they faced off against on their opponents. So really clean round for the Giants, and that's going to be dangerous for EG, of course, as now they need to run 4 rounds straight, plus an additional 2 to win the map in overtime, as they can no longer take it in regulation.
Did you know that Evil Geniuses has the best player on Villa in the entire world on their team? Do you know that?
Who's that?
It's Gotcha.
Really?
Yeah, they just should sub him in. Probably help out quite a bit.
I don't know if you can hot swap players.
You can actually swap between maps. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so like if somebody has like a 6-man that's just like really good at Ashen Jaeger, they can just be like, all right,
bring him in.
Bring in the gunner.
Tag team.
No, but right now, just Evil Geniuses, once again, they just seem cold, man. The team play is not there. They're not assisting each other in what needs to be done, even on the defensive side. I mean, they just were not ready for this all-out aggression of the Vodafone Giants, and especially with Evil Geniuses being inside of this group up against SSG. They saw how SSG played yesterday, and SSG mimicked a lot of what Vodafone is doing right now. Aggressive takes, aggressive defense, and Evil Geniuses all of a sudden is running into an issue. I think, honestly, what Evil Geniuses needs to do, and I know this is going to sound funny, take your brain out of your head, set it on the table, and go by instincts. Because right now, whatever you're trying to do, whatever your thought process is not helping you out against the Vodafone Giants. We've known these guys for a very long time. They've been one of the best teams in EU, and it's because of this aggressive play style that they are able to somehow make diamonds out of.
And they'll have to do that at least one more time here. And again, it'll be, I believe, the same site to attack as well. So we're going to be up against the trophy statuary defense.
Look at how quick this is.
Yeah, I think it worked perfect in the last round. Beautifully, in fact. So no reason not to do it again.
I don't know if this is just strictly off of prep phase drones, which, again, that's a very, very big thing, especially with these teams that are extremely aggressive. You have to have good droning immediately, because if you don't know what's clear, you don't know exactly where roamers are off rip. It even helps if you just go, okay, they're on the south end of the building. That makes it to where you go, okay, I can rotate through the north, everything should be fine. If we know that red staircase is clear and we saw no one rotate down it, then I should be okay to come in through kitchen or come in through the pantry staircase. But Vodafone now going to be focusing their retinas on the site, as we are going to get a track out here from Aces. That'll be the Mozzie of Necrox once again, which is one of the first people to die in that previous round. Geo going to switch over to a Legion as well instead of that Valkyrie. First Lion Call going to come out from Corey, as they've got the tracking duo, to say the least. It's going to be Aces as well as Corey, so that's definitely going to be an annoying combo for Evil Geniuses to deal with. They will establish, yet again, the hole from underneath to watch the rotation from Trophy into Astronomy. First Toxic Bay will land from Evil Geniuses as Vodafone begins to bear down onto site, but no damage done to anyone for as much lead has been thrown.
Spamback coming back over from the players on the defense here. EG, no, actually Rise turns it around on a Necrox and should be able to get his Jackal back into the game. There you go, Ace is revived. And now you're gonna go up on top here and allow for these guys to execute into Astronomy. No, actually end up flashing themselves as they push ahead of it. But regardless, they will get control of Astronomy. Just over a minute left and they're already fighting for the site. A 2-for-1 exchange, however, here comes Geo on the flank. Runs right up and is able to grab 2, knocking down Alfama and Rise. Not before Hicks knocks out Young, however, so it brings it down all onto Geo. and he took a lot of damage from that fight. Attackers on the site, they do not have the diffuser, however, so are not able to plant at this point. Gio might have just saved his chances in the round by dropping that. 45 seconds left is all he has to delay for now. The players on the Giants trying to hunt him down, trying to look for any angle he might be hiding out at. They've got a good general idea about where he could be, but they don't have full confirmation onto the position. In the meantime, Gio's getting all this information. He's getting hard pings onto these players. As EG has information to know exactly what they are, but a mad dash from Corey retrieves the diffuser, starts the plant. Gio's gonna move forward, and he successfully denies it. That's his third on the round. Now drops to the floor, everything falls to Hicks. He moves in, doesn't catch Gio on the floor, but adjusts. And with that, the Vodafone Giants will close out on map number 1. Just barely though, an amazing attempt to clutch from Gio.
It looked so good from Gio there at the end. If he had just a little bit more health and possibly some bullets instead of that SMG, it could have helped him out. But it's going to be a 7-2 for Vodafone Giants on Villa. And you really have to just look at Evil Geniuses with a heavy heart as of right now, because things for NA are just falling to pieces. It seems that every other team besides SSG has just been completely seam ripped, and they've just been falling apart into everyone's hands. We'll have to see if Evil Geniuses can try and battle back on our next map, but as of right now, it's more than likely going to be a stern talk from Gotcha and a what in the hell was that? Vodafone, though, on the other hand, looking so dang good, Blue, and you really just have to lean on their ability to play together as a team with this aggressive style. Even battling back on site has been so good.
All right, guys, well, that closes out map number 1 of the series. Stick with us as map number 2 is coming up in just a few minutes.
Fresh flag. Dropped into
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the 6 Major Raleigh. We're in the midst of our second decider match of the day. It's the decider for Group C, meaning we have the Giants going up against Evil Geniuses in the final match of the group. We've already seen Space Station take out Evil Geniuses yesterday and send them down to this very match, pushing themselves through into the quarterfinals in quite the surprise performance. Now it's time to see what our second team is going to be. And at the moment, it's looking very likely that it might be the Vodafone Giants as EG fell apart in map number 1 on Villa, only putting up 2 rounds.
Yeah, not a very clean map by Evil Geniuses at all, especially comparative to how they've been playing throughout the tournament. Even against SSG, they still look like they had a general grasp of what they wanted to accomplish, all except for Clubhouse, where SSG really took it to the house. Evil Geniuses right now, they need to wake up. I don't know whether it's team chemistry, comms, what is really going on with them, but all we know for sure is that right now their clears aren't working. They're taking extremely long to get focus on site, even when the site has been their main focal point the entire time. They really have not attempted to roam clear. Kafe is going to be the next map up, and again, it's going to leave a massive question mark for a lot of North America on what can possibly happen. The Vodafone Giants have a lot more of a record on this map, whereas Evil Geniuses do not. They've banned it 1 time, they have 1 win, they have 2 losses, and as of right now, especially leading into Vodafone's map, I don't know what to tell you.
It's not looking good, to be sure, for EG, and you could even see as well the attitude on the team. I'll be honest, doesn't seem to be the best right now with the conversation that's going on right there. Definitely looks to be a little bit frustrated, whereas I would say the mood from the Giants looking at their player cams, very focused, very, yeah, I'll just use the word again, focused on making sure that they close out this matchup in a 2-0. Kafe is going to be the best place to do it once again as well. We've seen how weak the attacks have been from Evil Geniuses, and this is already a map where attacks have tended to struggle quite a bit.
It almost looks more like Predator and Prey if you really look at those cameras. It looks like Vodafone's dialed in, they're ready, get the chance going, let's keep everybody excited, hyped up. You see Crapel, he's extremely happy for the team right now. Corey's ignited, everyone, their main focus is winning this next map, making this a clean 2-0, and not leaving a doubt in anyone's mind that they're one of the best teams coming out of Europe and that they have a shot at lifting that trophy on the main stage for the Raleigh Major. Evil Geniuses, on the other hand, though, I don't know if there's any pieces to pick up. Right now, things just look completely demolished. It's almost as if Gotch is trying to rebuild an entire structure right now. The team just does not seem to be flowing very well, and we're going to continue to talk back and forth before this game starts over on the bluer side of things, as we actually do kind of just have a traditional red versus blue vibe going on here, don't we?
Yeah, we do, quite literally in this case when you talk about the team uniforms.
Hey, perfect. Look at that.
Here we go, folks. You get a good look at them now as well. The Giants with the lead going into their own map pick now. It's Kafe Dostoevsky to potentially decide the series. EG must respond now, otherwise they will be eliminated from the Major. And we'll see Vodafone Giants move forward into the quarters.
Why couldn't this happen on a different continent? Where North America just doesn't show up on their own soil. That's
We still got TSM.
Yeah, we do. And TSM's looking really, really
EG
good.
could come back.
EG could come back. I know. I'm just.
It's not. The odds aren't looking great. We'll be honest.
I'm the whistleblower, man. I really am. Like I'm just the guy that right when things start going down, I'm the first one that's like, ah, crap. Like, you always, because here's the thing: if you always look at what the worst likelihood is, then everything will be fine because you're already ready for it. You know what I mean? You didn't have like the craziest hopes. You're like, it's gonna be an NA final, and then nothing comes of it.
Gonna be a lot of Space Station jerseys in the crowd on Friday.
Absolutely.
Maybe a couple TSM ones too. We'll have to see.
When does Bolo play again?
About 6 hours. Well, actually, maybe a little less than that, but
they have a website for that.
There actually is. And
it's
usually pretty accurate.
We actually meme about. Did you know that was made by Redeemer Taylor?
Oh, was it?
Former SSG player.
Oh no, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's the one who made whendoesboloplay.com or .net or whatever it is. But
working through the ban phase here now. Everything seeming, nothing too surprising here. The Montaigne is something we haven't, at least for Kafe, is something we haven't seen too much yet. But the Clash ban as well, definitely, assuming that was EG's, that's definitely a target against Vodafone Giants after what they did previously.
Yeah, well, same bans going across, all except for that Clash that you saw. We did see the Monty ban as well, so everyone just hating Shields right now. The Jackal ban coming out as well, just going to make roam game a little bit easier. But as we notated from Evil Geniuses, they really didn't have a roam clear in particular, so why even bring Jackal in the first place? Because you really never killed the person that you marked. Mm-hmm. Anyways, we are going to have a Ying get us selected for Aces. That's going to be a 6-pick. It's going to be. There's no way this gets stuck. Absolutely not.
against a kitchen attack. So there you go. There's the 6 pick over to a Dokkaebi, which we did have banned out in map number 1, but
we
hasn't
talked
been
about
banned
that.
now. So.
Yeah, Aces in particular plays Dokkaebi probably the most out of anybody that I've seen in quite a while, especially because her weapon kit isn't the best. The SMG-12 is super good in close range, but anything past that, its spray is just too much circular to really try and weigh in on those medium to longer distance gunfights. That's what you're going to try and use that MK17 for her main rifle. But what you want to be playing her for is those logistics bombs, and as we've seen from the Vodafone Giants, they really, really like being aggressive early on, and that's exactly what those logistics bombs help you do, is be extremely aggressive because you have everyone on call. Every single person except for Echo can be called on the defense, and guess what? We don't have an Echo either.
Just look at that CZ too, which is exactly what he's using now for a secondary, which is going to be pretty capable at close range.
So funny enough, there is no Echo banned, and we're not seeing an Echo. There's no Maestro band.
Yeah, really.
We're not seeing a Maestro. The 2 most played operators on defense, we are not seeing, which is...
And it was EG that banned out both of the shield operators too, by the way. They just don't want to deal with that.
Oh, stop it.
They just use both their hands. All right, shields, none of that in this game.
It's almost
Get that out of here.
We don't have Mint and he can just play Blitz and laugh.
I would love to see it one round from Vodafone. Just
throw Corey on Blitz
Yeah.
and have him pistol whip everyone. That'd be terrible.
All right, well, continuing on with the opening round here, we do have the Vodafone Giants spawned and out onto the board, so taking a look at their opening approach. Very drone-heavy right now. Most players just actually on camera or on rappel on the outside. You can see quite a few players on the roof, so not a whole lot of action to start things off here. So they might have expected it to go to the 3rd floor as well, so having to maybe adjust things a little bit for a kitchen attack, as now that they're clearing things out, they'll have to start making sure they clear out the roam presence, if there is any, from EG. It looks pretty hyper-focused at this point on the main floor itself down by the site, but as we've seen really from yesterday when SSG played on this map as well, you can extend that out pretty far across the entire 1st floor and still, as the defenders, pretty safely hold control of it.
Well, as we've grown to notate of Kafe, this map is in particularly extremely hard to attack, but Evil Geniuses giving up practically the entire farm right now, as they will be getting the hatch open inside of the dining area, which leads down to Freezer, making things just a touch easier, but it is still going to be difficult if they do want to drop that, because obviously, as you know, Evil Geniuses will have their main focal points on that area of the map just so that no one can drop freely, and, well, as we saw from Feral before, just be inside of sight randomly and no one knows why he's there. Corey will be the first one to die on this map, though, as the first bloodshed will ensue. That's going to be the Gridlock, but he's already got most of his utility down, locking down those staircases, making it where Evil Geniuses really can't rotate up. So therefore, they're just going to have to battle back from these vertical angles.
Just over a minute left here. Already a few players at the gates of the site, at least from the 2nd floor. It would be very, very dangerous to try and drop down at this point, especially with a man disadvantage. So it's very unlikely we would see them do it, at least not alone. However, all players going to start working their way down. At the moment, it's only Alfama, however, and he's dropped on top of a fence, so he won't be affected by that toxic gas grenade. He's got a little bit of an angle to work with. Now that he's been able to clear out this room, the rest of his team's going to start to drop in as well and see if they can work some room to finally find a plan. EG, though, looking for the pincer. Young already finding Hicks, who was supposed to be the 3rd player to drop down. Rise also getting knocked out, but what? Evil Geniuses, just in a few seconds, completely wiped the floor with the Giants roster and put themselves on the board first here.
Vodafone Giants just put themselves inside of a kill box.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just dropped in and soon realized that they were just some fish inside of a barrel, and it all fell apart, especially with the fantastic play from the smoke of Evil Geniuses. I believe it was Young on smoke that time around, doing a very, very good job using all of that utility to a T, keeping it on hand until the actual take from Vodafone ensued, and it happened to help out quite a bit because there were some smart rotations, especially from each angle, one holding down the window, the other one challenging the door, and they did not have anywhere else to go. So it was either fight or flight, and they more than likely, well, definitely chose the latter.
So a predictable transition at this point from EG heading back up to Bar and Cocktail Lounge after a successful kitchen start. That's something we always see. Also have a 6 pick from Imazi onto the Mute. Not going to be seeing that combo that was so popular from the folks on the Giants in the previous map, and also, of course, from SSG in yesterday's matchup. Not going to be showing up so much here just yet. I'll just stick with the Mute for now on Geo and allow him to roam with it.
Okay, well, Evil Genius is heading upstairs now as they did just win Kitchen off rip, which might have helped them out, but Vodafone really is not going to be showing anything different from what we saw before. The only thing is that they don't have a Thatcher, which definitely could throw a wrench into things, as we are going to have Geo on the mute and no particular way to get rid of them unless they get underneath pressure with Hicks. They don't even have an IQ to try and shoot it through the floor, so they're going to have to go for the skeleton key instead and just shotgun open the floor to try and find it. But that might lead to some trouble in case Vodafone just goes for a Christmas take, which we've seen quite a few teams doing, as they don't really clear that mid floor. They more lock down the red stairs and then try to add some pressure into Christmas, try and challenge for white hallway. If they win that out, then all of a sudden this becomes a lot easier, as that entire white hallway is practically the backbone of this entire site. It keeps Cocktail safe. It makes it to where you can play bar a lot more aggressively from Freezer as well.
Start to see the Giants go up repel here now that they've been able to avert any roaming presence worry over here towards the garage entry. You can see Rise keeping very close eyes on it, though, not wanting to take any chances with them. They do have a camera on the inside there, too, in order to watch for that as far as I can tell. Corey will start popping open these hatches, which will just take 2 shotgun shell shots, so nice and easy there. And they can start to gather for intel. 2 minutes left, so we should start to see them moving in for control of Christmas and similar areas within, I would say, the next 30 seconds or so. Otherwise, they're going to be stretching the time far too much.
I'll definitely have to agree with you on that one. Drone presence already inside of Christmas as well for Vodafone, so Rai should be swinging in the window. You know, flashy way of getting in, but we won't give Rise any crap about that. Sophia now inside of Christmas, as they do have some presence, but they still need to get Alfama rotated in to deal with this freezer door, excuse me, the freezer wall. You want to get that freezer wall open just to make it harder to challenge anyone going for bar, as they're actually going to open mini bar wall first just to make a rotation from the top of red stairs in, just adding more pathing in case they need it. They will open up the bathroom wall though, and they've actually created the box inside of freezer instead of extending it into that bathroom area. So definitely good for this instance, as Hicks will not have instant pressure just by opening this wall with a skeleton key.
And so we are going to see multiple members from EG continue to delay over towards the white wall 90. It's been a very popular position for the defenders to use. Why not? It's very hard to push the defenders out of there unless you have a massive amount of utility or a flank or a nade in this case. Rise and Hicks pick up a quick double kill right around the minute mark here to get the Giants started. Knocks out some, impressive presence. Necrox, what are you doing? All the presence in that hallway, and he tries to run onto the white stairs. Will not work out. Might have been an attempt to potentially find aces, but it doesn't work out. Canadian, though, gets himself a double. Tries to bring EG back into this round. Unfortunately, he's going to have to do it all on his lonesome and pull off an ace clutch here in order to win the round.
Forward 3 rounds left in the all-day as well. He did see some presence from upstairs, a drone coming down now. Quick shots at Cigar, but more than likely going to be met from heat from upstairs, and it will. He's actually going to drop as well. He drops all the way down. Corey could possibly chase here, but probably not the best idea. Rather grab the diffuser and get it down. Aces does still have, actually no, cancel that. No more logic bombs. Did not hear the second call come out, but will definitely have used it. Corey now putting the diffuser down, but they can try and read him from underneath. Is that exactly what's going to happen? No, Aces lying in the corner. Pre-fire's coming through, but definitely not going to be able to take down Corey's. The diffuser will be successfully planted. Aces, still plenty of time as well. That C75 could definitely help out in those close range engagements. Canadian now rotating over through Cigar. Long rotation here, has the shots, but Corey, oh my god, that reaction! One bullet is all he needs!
That was absolutely insane. Just flick the one tap. Oh my god! That was dirty.
I feel disgusted just watching that. Like, I feel like I need to go take a shower. That's
one way to put down a clutch attempt, that's for sure.
It's just adding insult to injury. Just being like, you're nothing. Like,
bop him with a headshot.
That's, wow.
So Evil Geniuses do come close. They did a great job of delaying. Unfortunately, they made some really odd mistakes at the end of the round, especially with Necrox making that push over towards white stairs. I can kind of see why he would have done that. It might have just been bad intel reads from EG. But either way, they did a great job of delaying up until that minute mark. Now they just need to push it past that, so they'll be attempting the site again.
I really feel like if Evil Geniuses had any more information onto where they were actually on site, that Canadian wins that. I really do. If they're able to notate exactly where that diffuser was going down, easy shots to the floor, kills the guy planting, and then all of a sudden it's a 1v1. More than likely gets a free rotation up red stairs, unless there's going to be a Claymore, but that'd be pretty easy to handle because there's no particular angle on that red staircase that keeps the Claymore absolutely safe. you can kind of just, alt walk up really, really close, tilt, and more than likely find a leg or the slight corner of the Claymore, get rid of that, and then rotate up. But again, that's just throwing things at the wall and hoping that it sticks for last round. But as of right now, we are tied up after almost a perfect round by Vodafone. But as we've grown to expect from Maestro, particularly in the hands of quite a few of those clutch-gened players, especially with Canadian, you can definitely bring things back and make it scary for the opposing team.
Yeah. I think I got around to demonstrate the power of the Alder right there and how quickly it can kind of cull an attacking team if you're not careful. But here we go. We've once again got Venture roster out onto the table here. It's going to be looking to push themselves for another attack here upstairs, taking things nice and slow, I would imagine, for those first 2 minutes, same as the last round. And looking to speed it up with a quick execute through the freezer and Christmas room after that.
Okay, well, Vodafone so far have done a particularly good job of clearing outside. They are going to be attacking the exact same site, so we're more than likely going to be seeing the same order of business. Get the hatches open, get some pressure, try and take control of white, get the freezer wall open, and oh yeah, by the way, make sure you get some of those gridlocks down. Speaking of going down though, Rise will be the first to fall from the offense, and he actually had quite a big impact on the last round, especially on that white hallway, where he was able to claim quite a few lives, which helped him out quite a bit. Aces, though, will drop an EMP grenade on the roof, and you might be wondering exactly why he's just throwing it randomly. He's trying to get rid of the ADSs over near white stairs so that they can just frag grenade out the guy. Excuse me, almost swallowed my own tongue there. Frag out the guy that was on white stairs, and that's what happened before, as you saw Hicks was able to get a frag grenade kill.
So Hicks, gonna get run out on by NVK. He even tries to go for two. Well, that's a little bit too greedy. Corey will be able to trade that back, taking out NVK. Still, however, keeping EG at an advantage of 4v3.
Doesn't matter at this point now, especially after Milan having quite a few discussions with Evil Geniuses, especially in these moments where NVK gets really aggressive. Those are all on call as well. It's, hey, these guys are trying to battle for this. NVK, we need you to do something here. We need you to make magic. And almost every single time he's been able to find something, as in recent history, especially yesterday, where they were able to find quite a few things, or excuse me, Monday, where they were able to find quite a few things against Vodafone off rip. Or excuse me, against the team they played off rip. Either way, though, still battling for map control and still in the lead as Evil Geniuses for the time being on this round. Vodafone still has definitely found their ways through these thick of woods before, as they are still trying to battle for that white control. Drone's not coming out, trying to get just a little bit more information, but I'm going to assume that Evil Geniuses is going to try and play this a little bit more soft instead of rushing into things like they did last time, which got them punished because of all the pre-fires coming out from Vodafone on those white stairs and some good utility usage. Nitro Cell will ring through, but not going to make any contact with Aces inside of Bathroom.
By the way, again, great delay. This has been the name of the game so far from EG on this site. Alfama making a push through, though. 2, now 3 kills going into his favor. Absolutely ripping through the defenses right now. And all of a sudden, everything is on Young, and Aces will take him out. What a recovery from the Giants. Didn't even seem like they were going to be able to attack it. But all of a sudden, out of absolutely nowhere, Alfama just runs right through the bar.
Well, when all else fails, I guess you just do the thing. I guess you just do the thing that no one else would expect you to do, and that's challenge everyone through bar and literally just John Wick everyone. Just, they're gone.
Just click heads.
Yeah, just, and if all moments right now, this would be the perfect time to call a timeout. I mean, this is something that we would expect from Gotcha. Yeah. Call the timeout, try and help them with that headspace, because I can tell you, especially after that, where you're on man advantage, everything seemed to be fine, and then all of a sudden things are not fine. It's a very, very difficult thing to fight through, especially in such an embarrassing fashion as to, hey, we can't kill a guy that's literally just swinging on everyone from bar space on upstairs Kafe. That's not supposed to happen.
Definitely not supposed to happen. And after the early round looks so promising as well, you can tell the frustration there from Gotcha and trying to figure out how to fix these issues now going into the following round. That's the lead, and once again, though, going into the favor of the Vodafone Giants. Now time to secure it and keep pushing it further and further. 2 rounds on the attacking side of Kafe is already good. If they can push it to 3, or mind you, even 4 rounds, potentially still 5 as well as in the cards here as well, that might be the beginning of the death bells for EG if they don't find a swift way to recover.
This is just scary because neither of us have seen a map from Evil Geniuses throughout this entire tournament where they had a good offensive side. Not a single one. And it's been very, very hard to watch. Their defenses have actually been pretty good. They just haven't had too much roam presence, and especially on this area, or excuse me, on Kafe in particular, they really haven't shown too much presence on Rome. The most of Rome presence that we've seen from them on defense was on Villa the first time around, where they had quite a bit downstairs with Pulse, as well as a couple other Nitro-celled players. But it seems that we will have an adjustment here for Evil Geniuses. This Canadian will pick up Echo. We haven't seen him just yet.
So a little bit more Echo play coming into the fold here now. Hopefully enables that delay capability to go a bit further, although it hasn't been delay. Well, I mean, again, like the delay's been working. It hasn't really been a problem for EG. So the Echo is great. It's just that one extra little push they need in order to solidify the round. But ultimately, the biggest problem is, again, someone, whether it's Alfama in the last round or another player from the first round, just is able to walk right through their defenses and just start entering on them. So need to try and find a way to restrict, prevent those types of kills from becoming even a possibility here. Otherwise, EG are going to continue to lose control of the site and their delay tactics. And most importantly, these Yokai drones aren't really going to have much of an effective use in the round.
All right, well, currently across the last 3 games, Evil Geniuses have a 62.5% chance of winning their defensive side. So we'll see if they can possibly do that. Again, that isn't the positive side of things. So they still have plenty of time, still have plenty of rounds as well. We still have to go through 3 rounds to see exactly what will happen here. But Rez going to a hot breach once again into Christmas and establish dominance over this first level. As we've come to expect from Evil Geniuses, no real roam game is going to ensue, and they're more than likely not even going to battle for the second floor. Last time, Vodafone just all of a sudden threw themselves into a grinder inside a freezer, so that's more than likely not going to happen again. We are going to have Rise just hold down white stairs and wait for Corey to rotate to establish some gridlock tracks on that staircase, making it a lot harder for Evil Geniuses to roam.
Already inside the 3rd floor, of course, looking to just try and clear everything out here, open up some of the hatches, and allow for himself to move around. It seems they already have drone presence onto the 2nd floor, too, as he just haphazardly drops himself down to the inside. Aces' position does indeed confirm that, and he'll be joined by Rise in a moment, too. So good progress being made here once again, but the Giants will need to try and get that hatch over to the dining room, but I don't imagine that will be too much of an issue since they have the Thermite on their team. Self-destruction will have to do for now, though, to start giving them vision onto the site, and overall, like the same approach that they're taking at the moment that they did on their first attack here, which just didn't work. They tried to hot drop pretty much their entire roster down this hatch without any other first floor control, and it went pretty much as you'd expect. EG tore it to shreds. So hopefully they're not trying to do the same thing again.
Well, they've literally got a metric ton of soft destruction, so I highly doubt that they try and go for this without trying to clear out that main kitchen area this time around, because last time Evil Geniuses was just allowed to poise themselves around the freezer and rip through everyone that was trying to drop from that hatch. This time Vodafone has gotten here in plenty of time, and Necrox now seems poised to try and rotate up red, but he's going to fall off immediately. Evil Geniuses, though, still lying in wait, as it appears that Vodafone still wants to go for the same thing. Young is the only one inside of the kitchen area now, as he is starting to pop these toxic babes inside of the freezer, which is going to make things a little bit daunting. Young's actually going to rotate in and downs Alfama upstairs. Toxic babe for good measure. Necrox to add on as well, and all of a sudden Evil Geniuses in the lead. Necrox actually had a safe rotation up. He almost gets 2, but it's going to be Hicks to answer the call, as Corey will go down. It's all up to Hicks upstairs with a diffuser. Shot through the floor, shot from his level, and VK to seal the deal. Evil Geniuses somehow find a will and a way to get around these gridlock tracks, which apparently were impacted, but we were not really able to gain any information on that from our point of view.
Yeah, again, though, the Giants is kind of playing into that same strategy again, and it was very obvious what they were doing off of the first attack, even though EG didn't really get to see it all that much, so they just lock onto it. They pinch it at the end of the round, like you said, by impacting out the gridlock track stingers and making sure that those weren't going to be a problem to rotate upstairs. That on top of, again, great denial, preventing the Giants from getting any type of real control back on the first floor, made it a pretty one-sided round for EG. So good stuff from them. They're doing great work on that site. Just need to see the rest of the map improve now. But at the very minimum, they're keeping it even, at least at 2-2.
I'm going to completely agree with you there. We just need to see a better site in general that isn't kitchen.
Yeah.
Their kitchen defense is working out, but the way it's working out is really, really weird because they don't really apply any pressure to the mid-floor, and the only reason they were even allowed is because that there was no eyes or information gathering on those staircases any longer. They more or less just put down some gridlock tracks and forgot about it, which, again, gridlock tracks are all fine and dandy, but one impact usually destroys a path for you to get through. It doesn't particularly destroy all of them if they lay out correctly, but again, that's all automated. You don't really get to pick how you exactly want those things to go. They do put 15 of those on the ground as a max, which is truly insane, but those impacts destroy, once again, most of them. They can always go to the Nomad as well, which obviously is a massive audible air burst that knocks you onto the ground, and that might help out Vodafone just a little bit with that information gathering on those staircases instead of having just some gridlock tracks.
Vodafone is very committed to using the track stingers, however, instead of the Nomad, at least at this point in the game, but they'll always keep that option in their back pocket if it's needed. Regardless, we've got the Vodafone Giants out onto the board, and it's a new attack for them, of course, as EG have also changed up the site and have gone for the fireplace and reading room sites here for the middle of the second floor. Of course, you can see right here there's a little bit of window access, and it's looking like they're going to be putting Canadian on top of that for the time being to watch that and make sure they're not going to be able to just swing in from there and deny that pressure, most importantly.
All right, well, plenty of information on drones here as Hicks is flicking through every single cam they possibly have for any presence. Has eyes on one person, and obviously Evil Geniuses has no idea they are currently being seen downstairs, well, at the bottom of new stairs in general right now. Corey's going to lock down the reading exit so no one can no longer jump into pillars, and Corey's actually going to expand some track stingers at the base of the white window outside as well, which not the best, because somebody obviously has to commit to that to get outside, and much rather just be aware of it than anything else. And Corey actually going to hop up onto the AC unit to take down NBK on white stairs, so really doesn't even have to worry about that run out any longer. Hicks going to establish some angles inside of the train room from Rappel on the actual mining room area, but seems that Vodafone's still plenty in the lead on this round. Still plenty of time, though, as Evil Geniuses, as we saw in the last round, can definitely try and fight out of this box on the defensive side. It's the offensive side to worry about, but Hicks will actually claim Young from upstairs, and that's going to be a massive pick. That's actually going to be the Maestro. No more Alda in play, so some weaker guns still. Necrox with SMG-11, though, can always bring them back, especially with those toxic picks.
Geo still patiently waiting for any type of aggression to work its way in from the Giants, but not going to find it once more. Just this passive kind of posturing, not even really aggression for roamers that EG's putting up right now is doing great work, as Giants just don't seem to have a way to get around this, even if they have drone intel. They're very, very timid to take any of these direct 1v1 duels, which is a bit strange because they've had a great track record of winning these. Geo trying to sneak around here as well, break some of the track stingers. That's going to bait Rise into taking a duel with him, but Geo just sits back and waits, picks up yet another kill. The first, I guess you could say, for his team on this round. Bringing into a 3v4, starting to battle this back a little bit into his team's favor.
Baiting with that 200 IQ play there, just shoot one of the track stingers and force someone to gain vision on you. That will be the first kill that Evil Geniuses finds throughout this, and this might follow up as a second, but no, the MPX not doing any due diligence. This is going to be a down on a Necrox. All of a sudden, it's Geo left alone. Hicks will dispatch him, and Vodafone Giants will quickly grab round 5 after their second kill ensues.
Same thing again, right? Like EG are looking great. The folks on Giants don't have any control going into the late part of the round there. We're in like the last minute, but all of a sudden, Vodafone and Giants just switch on, run into the site, and EG are just not ready for it. And this is the third time it's happened now.
Exactly. It's almost like they're just not aware that Vodafone will just all of a sudden try and throw something to the wall and hope that it sticks. It's that fight or flight mode. It's like, okay, are we really just going to sit here for these last 45 seconds, or are we going to do something about it? You go, yeah, and then just rush sight, and all of a sudden, all of Evil Geniuses is just dead, bleeding out on the ground. It's just not good. It's not good. It's like that guy that you're scared of on the playground. You just constantly watch him until he runs at you, and then you just freeze.
Yeah, and
it's just not good.
Thankfully, they still have Alfama as well, which is like a big reason why these types of executes are actually working for the guys on the Giants, which is a bit strange that it would work so consistently. Alfama keeps pulling out these dirty entries that opens up attack opportunities.
That just don't make sense.
Yeah, it's just like, you shouldn't be winning these, but he is.
Geo has led the way for EG this season and at the Major, but has struggled with only 6 frags in this match. Thank you once again to CGG for those pop-ups that you guys will be seeing throughout the rest of the tournament. They actually shine quite a bit of a light on this matchup so far, in that Evil Geniuses really has not been successful at battling back, all except for one site. They're going to have to go to an off-site, I guess, which really is everyone's main site, but for some reason, Evil Geniuses cannot get it to work, and I think it's because once they feel like they're safe, they stop the initial frontal attack by Vodafone. That's not it. That's not the full story. They're still going to try and flex around that. It's almost like water. When you punch it, it just goes right around your hand.
It's a very good metaphor.
You're welcome.
So last few setup before. No, that's not a. Last few setup pieces coming in here now for Canadian. Just he's popping up the wall with the Aldous so that he can peek in. We already saw Canadian doing pull off a clutch from the same exact angle, or at least started the clutch from there, but the double kill, but unfortunately wasn't able to pull it off at the end of the day. That was back on, I think, round number 2 of this matchup here. For the rest of the Vodafone Giants, already have most of them on the roof, looking to pop open the hatches and start that usual control towards red stairs, cigar balcony, and then shifting into Christmas after that.
This gridlock play right now from Corey is so impressive. Vodafone locking down all these staircases, making it a lot harder for Evil Geniuses to rotate. But from what we've seen of Evil Geniuses, they don't really do that. That's not really their fancy right now. We have seen a little bit, especially on their kitchen defense, where they rotate quite a bit. A lot of track stingers on red staircase. No one is getting up that unless you can somehow tiptoe throughout, but definitely not going to happen, as that's not a feature inside of this game just yet. We might get an operator at some point that can just walk with their tippy toes around that, right? Necrox, though, quite a bit of damage done to him on the defense. Don't really know where it came from, though. I'm going to assume it was from Skylight or what have you, but we did not see any particular thing happen on our end in order to dictate that, hey, this is exactly how Necrox took that much damage. But he's going to be playing his life out anyways. We're about halfway through, so he's going to have quite a few of those goo mines at this point, which could definitely be a big issue. Young still battling for Christmas, as the thermite wall will go off here and establish some angles inside of Freezer, which Young is definitely going to have to be worried about, because he is going to be the main front here to try and prevent this plant. They have finally played Echo and Maestro in the exact same defensive round instead of switching them off in between, which is going to help them out quite a bit. That's a lot of information that will help out Evil Geniuses once Vodafone tries to go for this hard push, which we've seen again. They're trying to get that main information, and that's really what's been assisting them with making this work out so far, especially with Alfama on Thermite, who has been achieving most of this entry fragging.
So down to the last minute once again, and this time no kills have happened in that first minute. Rise trying to get one of the Gashbots to the inside of the freezer. Hicks is actually going to pick up the first kill with a nade against Young. The rest of the team still struggling to find access to Bar, though. Hicks, with the shotgun skeleton key, manages to find Necrox trying to drop onto them, picks up another kill, and again, it's happening again. Alfama, Rise, run in, pick up the kills, and it's a flawless attack round at the end of the half of the Vodafone Giants. How does EG fall apart that quickly with that little time left?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead. I just asked you the question, didn't I?
Sometimes I hate you, Blue. All right. So the reason that Vodafone's being able to achieve this so well, especially on the upstairs, is because of the information that they get after they open up the angles. There's no movement by Evil Geniuses. There's not a single person you have to worry about moving from their actuals. It's literally the mannequin challenge. That's literally what it is. Yeah. All they have to do is worry about red staircase. Everyone else sits in the exact same square foot. They don't move. So immediately after your burn ADSs and what have you, you just go, okay, I'm going to frag the guy on Christmas, I'm going to throw the frag grenade into Freezer, which is going to kill Young, which means you can move up through Freezer, which means we can get bar control, which means we can kill Cocktail, which means we can kill White, and all of a sudden, guess what? You're all dead. Isn't that crazy? That's wild. Would have never guessed that a Pro League team could have done that.
There you go. Thanks very much for the info, Stokes. I appreciate you answering my question.
Well, next time when you get droned out, please move. I understand that Freezer is a backbone and you need to be able to hold it down, but as of right now, man, you just rotate out or try and contest Freezer wall more. That's really been the thing. They haven't brought anything to stop it. And first things first, Vodafone never, ever really had any EMPs or anything to try and stop you from bandit tricking it. Throw a castle barricade up on the freezer door or put a shield or something and try and get some presence there to contest that wall. Hell, even play Kaid. Play Kaid. Play him downstairs or something. We just never really saw them try and battle back, whether with nitro cells or anything. And we've seen Evil Geniuses do that plenty of times, whether it be Pulse Play, Mozzie. We've seen it every single way from this squad, but we just did not see it on that defense. And Vodafone feels like they're taking it to the house right now.
Well, they only need 3 more rounds to take it to the main stage here. That close now. Just need to complete one single site rotation across this map, and they will have their ticket into the quarterfinals. EG, sadly, yet another North American team will make their way out of the event, and I believe in EG's case anyway, this will be the first time we'll ever see EG eliminated from the group stage of a major event, at least going back as far as the 2018 Invitational.
Yeah, well, 2017 they won it because they were Continuum at the time. So this will be the first time that they've ever been taken out in groups if it does happen, which means that we won't have the Nadian himself, Geo, Young, so many players that we've seen throughout so many stages. And actually, the favorite, in my eyes, to win the entire thing. Shio, yeah, very nice catch and rise as he tries to hop through the window and claim some lives, but definitely won't happen. It'll be the Reaper on the other end that will actually end up with that life in his kill column. First logistics bomb will come out, and we haven't seen too much Dokkaebi played by Evil Geniuses in recent history either, but it's definitely going to be a very weird thing if we don't have Evil Geniuses on the main stage, but somebody's got to go, and in particular, it's looking like it will be Evil Geniuses at this point unless something drastic changes.
Corey on the P10 as well here. Still having quite an even split, in my opinion, among pro players between the P10 and the Commando, so everybody's still trying to make up their mind about what the best gun is on that one. We see the battle continue. P10 definitely more capable at close range, but you need to be a little bit more careful with the spray because it has that lower ammo count. And in my opinion, the ammo runs out a lot more quickly. Necrox able to move out here and find Corey as well. Another player caught running out despite damage being done to EG players at the moment. The aggressive stance being taken by the Giants is not netting them any kills and is only costing them players, as now they're down to a 3v5.
I'm surprised that Vodafone has not noticed that Evil Geniuses just continues to play this all from outside of the building. The only map presence that they have is the area where you just swing in from the windows and all of a sudden have map presence. That's it. Evil Geniuses doesn't have a single person on the mid floor. Doesn't have any presence really anywhere else, and that's all they really need apparently, because Vodafone Giants is going to continue to peek through and continue to get demolished because of that. They do have aces on the mid floor, which again, this is something we really didn't see from Evil Geniuses. We did see a couple of rotates come out, but they all got stomped out, and Vodafone trying to bring things back now, at least in this round. They are still going to be in the lead round count-wise, but the wall for Freezer just now gets opened at 25 seconds, so a little slower here from Evil Geniuses. This might actually work out in the end if Alfama's allowed to stay alive. Logistics bomb coming through. He will knock down one. Geo to answer that, though. It's all up to aces. Canadian will put a cinch in that, and it's a flawless round for Evil Geniuses. Is once again, not too much map control, but they really didn't need it because Vodafone just continued to take these gunfights that they really didn't need to at the end of the day.
Yeah, really greedy round from Vodafone, unfortunately, that ended up throwing away any chance they had of closing it out, especially once it had gone down to the 2v5 situation. So need to see them kind of cool things off a little bit, and I'm sure that they will do that pretty quickly as well. It's a very easily correctable mistake made there by the Giants. We'll see if that is going to be the case, though, or if they'll continue to double down on it on a different site, since they won't go for the upstairs site again. They'll head back downstairs to the kitchens. Same site that EG was able to excel at on their own defense, but unfortunately that was the only site we saw them excel at.
Well, they're definitely going to have to try and make this lightning strike twice, as we will be heading to kitchen this time around. Routinely seems, well, comparative setup to what they had before, actually the exact same. Are going to have Canadian IQ as well. No 6-picks coming through, as we saw Canadian 6-pick quite a few times off of IQ, so hold my breath for just a second, but it is going to be the exact same thing. But we'll have Geo on Zofia as well, which is what we see him on routinely on offense. Young's still going to be on the Thermite, and we are bringing the logistics bombs of Necrox once again. It seemed to help them out quite a bit, especially with how much smoke play they had going on from the offense when they went for that execute. So obviously, you know, sound still goes through smoke as well as open walls. So when they did hear that logistics bomb go off from the corridor of White, they were still able to find the remaining members of Vodafone. It was going to be Canadian to put a bullet in that to end that last round. So we'll have to see if things go the exact same and what Evil Genius's idea is of attacking the site, because the Vodafone's was not particularly the best.
Attacker's objective is to defuse
The greatest, that's for certain. So hopefully we've got a better plan lined up here for Evil Geniuses. And the first step to that is primarily just going to be getting some access to the first floor. Is the biggest problem that the Giants had, because Evil Geniuses had this really static defensive setup spread all across that floor. Giants were just never really able to safely push in. The one time we did see players directly try to go for access to the bakery door was literally killed the second he opened up the barricade. So not much room to be had there, thankfully, due to the nice defensive setup from EG on that site. Not so much the case for some of the other sites, but we'll have to see if the Giants can pull off the same thing, or if this is going to be a bit of a weak spot for them, and EG can start to leverage their way back into not only this map, but this series with a win here.
Alright, well, Logic Bomb still on deck for Necrox. Haven't used any of those just yet. We've actually seen some extremely fast executions throughout this tournament with Dokkaebi. We just haven't seen too much of her play throughout the entire tournament. She's more of a niche pick for when you need help with those info gathering moments, especially on execution. Plenty of info gathering, though, for Evil Geniuses, as they don't have to worry about that Mute Mozzie combo, because Vodafone will not be running it in this particular round. They are still going to have Corey on the Mute, which can help them out a little bit with these logic bombs of Dokkaebi, but still going to be quite a nuisance for drone control in general.
We've got Necrox His way back around now to start droning, clearing out the rest of this for his team. Time is going to start to get a little bit low here at a minute and a half remaining, so they will need to start looking for an execute. I believe that was Rise getting droned out and sent further back downstairs and away from this. He's going to have to retreat further back to his side as well, meaning that the defense again is going to be largely focused on just the site itself, not much additional roaming presence to deal with, meaning that EG can now finally start to focus on the execute. Rise is going to get a phone call sent his way. Doesn't seem to care too much, though. Just going to hold an angle and probably wait out the time.
Last logic bomb will come out for Dokkaebi as well. Rise is going to get tagged up just a little bit, but they're actually not going to capitalize on this at all. So this is a little bit of a waste of utility. So no more logic bombs for Dokkaebi, just another woman with a gun. Valkyrie now trying to contest the new stairs, moves up with a deagle and is actually going to rip Geo to pieces. Canadian, though, on the other end of things, will take down Rise. That was the man that was injured earlier, but he will now be fully killed. Corey is the only one inside of VIP, as Aces is actually going to be helping him out on a longer angle with that MPX. Young to fall, that's Diffuser as well. NVK take up as well, as Corey will make sure to put a cinch in that. Alfama onto Necrox as well, and all of a sudden, Vodafone Giants swing through on Kitchen.
Unfortunately, couldn't get past that last bakery setup along with what we had seen out there in the main hallway and towards the bar. So a good early round from EG. Nice job clearing out the roaming presence at minimal risk to their own players, but at the end of the day, couldn't make it into the actual setup. Had to try and force their way in, and at the end of it, once again, got boxed out by the much better fragging power that we've been seeing over this series from the Vodafone Giants. 2 more rounds, and they will have their spot in the quarters, and will be able to knock EG out in the groups.
All right, well, the Mute Mozzie combo coming back alive for the Giants, and in particular, it was messing with Evil Geniuses quite a bit, but we will have a 6-pick come out before I can finish my thought on that. Corey switching over to the Kaid, which will help them out a little bit on that bar cocktail lounge. Kaid is played on this side in particular because you can actually just go down to reading, throw one of his electro claws underneath on the ceiling, and it will electrify all of the reinforced walls upstairs. So we might actually see a bathroom hold come out here from the Giants, because if you play somebody on white, it's actually a pretty safe area to play, especially with some ADSs, but the Giants are going to have access to those ADSs, so more than likely we are going to just see the routine freezer box created. Is actually, no, they are going to make the rotate, so this is strange to say the least. No frag grenades on the offense, so Vodafone going to get lucky on that. So no real worry in that department.
A good amount of intel gathering and counter utility coming in here, though. Well, for the defensive side, going to have to be using Kaid in order to make sure that they are able to successfully deny any attempt to push back into the freezer. Something that EG were not able to do that well on their own defensive side here. We've got EG out on the board in the meantime. Let's see now what their plan is going to be.
Well, only 2 rounds needed for the Giants to secure this and move on to the main stage. As for Evil Geniuses, still a lot of battling to do. Just to push this to overtime, they're going to need 3 rounds. Vodafone, though, on the other hand, not looking too hot on their defensive side just yet. Their kitchen defense looked really good, but Evil Geniuses was in the exact same boat. Although Vodafone is trying to fix things, some operator lineup changes, as again we did see Corey switch over to that Kaid. We'll start to get the hatches open now and get some presence. Evil Geniuses routinely have the same exact idea as everyone else on this site in particular, which is gain access to the top of red, make sure you have Christmas control, go for the freezer wall, challenge for white hallway. If you're able to win that out, all of a sudden the site becomes a lot easier, but you might just rotate somebody underneath for good measure to contest that white staircase, making things a little bit more difficult. Are going to have some Christmas presents from the Giants, though, as it will be the Mute of Rise. So you hear the first logic bomb, as well as yet another bomb go off in the distance.
Big duel for the rappel in the window here right now. Rise trying to come out on top of it, but he's going to end up getting forced back due to the phone call. Head back down to the 2nd floor temporarily, and he's going to rotate back over here towards the white stairs, where he'll obviously be much, much safer. It means the player currently on white stairs can rotate into a different position. Corey will head further in towards the freezer to work on active denial of the Christmas wall. From that point forward, of course, we can continue to see Corey play into that, or Rise, excuse me, play into that position and wait it out. Corey, though, snipes Young away the second he tries to push him for some control here. That's a good start as well. Dropping the diffuser down onto the ground. More players going to try to take that control. Man, what an angle as well that Corey had for this. Now it's going to be a big problem for someone else on EG to try and pick up that diffuser if he stays trained on that angle.
It's not even a good start. That's an amazing start. That's Young, and MBK will follow it up, but Might be too little too late here. That will be the Echo, so no more yokai control. Cannot stun anyone with it, but with Thermite down, this Freezer's going to stay solid. Plenty of smokes coming out now. Nitro Cell will go off, but it's not going to do too much. Challenging from White, but it's Corey with the TCSG to take him down. MVK to rotate in for the double kill, but Rise from a long distance with the SMG-11. Hicks to tack on as well, and it's going to be Aces to all of a sudden put this to match, everything point. Evil Geniuses have to battle through 3 rounds perfectly on their offensive side. Otherwise, Evil Geniuses will be going home for the first time in the group stage of a major ever.
EG trying to scrub around some of the defenses that have been set up there by Vodafone Giants, and there you see the immediate difference because they have the active denial working its way in on the freezer wall. EG aren't able to get enough access to the site. They make the mistake of dropping one of their players on Red Hatch drop due to the position being taken up by their opponent's Cade, and from that point forward had to try and really fight for every single inch of that site and just did not have enough manpower in order to successfully do that. So another one round here for the Vodafone Giants. It takes us back down to the second floor for potentially the last round of this series if we see the Vodafone Giants come out on top of it.
Well, if you are a fan of Evil Geniuses at this point in time, or just a fan of NA in particular, you have to have your head in your hands right now and just be wondering exactly what is going on with EG in particular, especially after what was happening at the last LAN they attended in Milan, where they were 1 round away from being the Pro League final victors inside of Italy, and all of a sudden they are staring at elimination instead of group stage here at the Raleigh Major. Especially after going toe-to-toe with Empire in such convincing fashion and just did not get put together at the very, very end. It's very strange to be seeing, especially this name, be so close to elimination inside of group stage.
It's all got to be brought back here. We'll see if EG are able to do it. Things are not looking good for them, though, and in the meantime, everything's looking great for the Giants. Definitely the superior capability to win out with the majority of the gunfights so far in this series, on top of just seemingly the more put-together defense right now for this map. But that may make the ultimate difference on Kafe in the series, and of course in our quarterfinals, as it will determine another EU team making their way through and another NA team getting knocked out.
I think in particular right now, the thing for Evil Geniuses is that they're not playing to win, they're playing to not lose, and it's not helping them out in the slightest. Everything that they're doing is a little bit overthought, which I understand that Rainbow Six Siege is a game where you have to be using your brain in every step of the way, but sometimes instincts are the things that get you through, especially as we saw earlier with like Corey with that insane flick and the one tap over to Cigar. A lot of the times it is just allowing your instincts to let things free flow while also trying to maintain that communication with your team. But for right now, it seems that everything from Evil Geniuses is just done in particularly scared fashion, and the Giants continue to reign on this parade of EG.
Nitrox taking to take a couple extra swings there in order to get that hatch open. Some players still dealing with the ghosting of it since they're getting used to land client as well here. But as they work their way in, there you go. Nice little EMP off of the Black Eye will be able to take that out nice, or Evil Eye, excuse me, will be able to take that out nice and easily and give our attackers free reign over the Cigar balcony.
Easily is not on this team. Also, Rogue went home earlier if you guys are just joining us, so NA not in the best spot right now, but we do still have some teams to worry about later today to see if they will also be heading towards the main stage, or will SSG be our sole proprietor of North America for all the hopes and dreams we could possibly have on our own soil. Canadian, though, now seems to want to fight back, but he will get shut down immediately by Aces. Corey to tack on as well. All of a sudden, Evil Genius is falling apart here. Christmas is still the main focus for Evil Geniuses. Necrox to follow it up. Young continues the reign of terror as Hicks and Rise try and battle back. Hicks rotates up wide, takes quite a bit of damage. Rise is actually downstairs as well, trying to play the angles, trying to fire onto the tailcoats of EG upstairs, but Hicks actually battles back now as it's going to be Geo to fall. All of a sudden, it's up to Young and Necrox. They have to get this diffuser down as well. I don't believe that they're going to have any information, as Young is actually going to establish a vertical angle with one of his exothermic charges. They have to get downstairs in order to get this diffuser down. So Hicks and Rise still lying in wait for anyone to try and rotate. Only 30 seconds left, and this is where we've seen Evil Geniuses stall out before. They've tried so hard for these angles. They're still waiting on rotation upstairs, but they have to be the ones to force the opposition. Right now, everything falling apart for them. 18 seconds as we just watch in terror as this continues to tick down. No one getting aggressive. Young's going to have to try and throw something to the wall and hope that it sticks. Necrox to follow. Diffuser goes down. And this is going to be Evil Geniuses going home. Necrox rotating, but it's not going to be for anything. The Giants send Evil Geniuses packing for the first time in a group stage at a major.
So a massive disappointment for the EG and maybe their fans at home, but a massive victory once again for the French roster and, of course, for the entirety of this team. The Vodafone Giants making their way through once again into a quarterfinal. Quite a bit of achievement from this team over the last few months, especially when you look at their results coming out of Pro League and all of the other tournaments that they have been playing in. A little bit of a victory lift as well from the coach, as they are going to make it through into the quarterfinals. Yet another European team qualifies. They're 2 for 2 for today.
That's a defeated team. NVK, head in hands. Lots to think about and a long week to watch a lot of other people competing that aren't you. And that's always an extremely, extremely hard thing. We know how competitive Evil Geniuses have been over the span of a very, very long time. We thought, and particularly I thought, that they were going to be able to accomplish magic here at the Raleigh Major. It seemed like their time. It seemed that the Evil Geniuses banner finally chosen its time to fly, especially after that Milan Pro